Guys, it's Righteous Sun
and Earthly Angel back at you.
And we are here with another episode. And on this episode, we are talking about relationships. And I don't mean relationships as in your mom and your dad or relatives. I'm talking about your partner, your significant other, that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, the person you want to grow old with. So before we start, please take a moment to like and subscribe down below, because if you do that, we'll bring you more episodes.
Yeah.
And hopefully things that will be informative for all of you.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about relationships, and really, what does that mean? So we talk about
looking at like the perspective of society's view on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So how other people view relationships, what kind of says do they have, what kind of inputs do they have within your relationships, and how does that affect what you're going through right now, as opposed to building more on the future and what you can change, what you can't change, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, I want to start by saying we chose to do this because we know a lot of people who are 30 and above,
mm-hmm.
who jump into relationships, and then next thing you know, they fail. So we really want to try to hopefully help in some way, and maybe just kind of like ask questions. Hopefully that will pique some thoughts and things going through your head, if there is anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about society's view of it. What do you feel in terms of like what society's view is?
I always find that everyone has something to say about a relationship or to try to contribute towards a relationship. Like, I find people are always like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you shouldn't go through your husband's phone because you should trust him, or, and that's a big one for me.
Who else does that? You know that there's some of you out there who've done it at least
we're
once or
sneaky.
twice.
We're women. We have to find the truth. It all comes down to proving, seeing. It has to be in front of us. We get that gut feeling, and when we get that gut feeling, we just, I don't know, something overtakes us, and then we just go crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're right, and sometimes there's
we're
nothing
wrong.
to be found.
Yeah.
But even, let's say now, people have a pressure. So I kind of see it as soon as you graduate out of university, you get that, great job, you land the perfect job.
Yeah.
And then you find that significant other, and you get married, and you get the house, and you get the dog and the kids, and everything sort of happens, and you do all the motions. But then once you finally get deep into it and realize, like, this is your life roommate, and they're not always going to pick up after themselves, and it's not going to be what you maybe envisioned as a child, if you ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of starts to get stale and flat, especially when you have kids.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people become unhappy in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they get bored of the same routine over and over and over again, or they get sick of the same person, seeing them day in, day out, day in, day out.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know kind of what their expectation was, but I kind of feel people tend to, and even I've done it myself, is you have this dream or this vision in your head of what you think your relationship or marriage or family will be like. And then you're like, wait a minute, but it's not like what I envisioned. And that's something that people have to sort of face. And I think sometimes when people face that, they're like, well, then screw this.
Yeah.
I don't want this anymore, and I quit.
Yeah.
Or they jump into it because everybody else around them is getting married.
Is doing it, yeah.
And
they feel pressured into
Yeah,
doing it
and you
because
have
their
family.
family is like, that's it, you have to be married, you have to have children, I want grandkids.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people nowadays that society is changing. A lot of people are not getting married, they're not having children, they don't want that, they want a great career to involve themselves in.
Mhm.
So I find a lot of society these days has changed too, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So going within the norm of what society says that is normal,
Yeah.
may not be normal for you.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's a really good one.
So, yeah.
So when we talk about relationships, what are the main things that you look for in a relationship? And is that important to have those main, whether it's your top 10, your top 5 things that you look for in a relationship with somebody?
Communication, number one. You have to have communication or it just does not work.
Right.
You know, without communication, you're constantly fighting. You know, you take the other person the wrong way. Sometimes, you know, they say something that offends you. It just even their tone of voice. Communication is number one. If you don't speak to your partner about things that you do like and that you don't like, they're never going to know. And then things fall apart because you have that hatred inside of you and you start resenting that other person that you're residing or living with or spending the rest of your life with, whether it's a male, female, etc. Communication, trust is another one.
Yeah.
Trust is built though. It's not just given. So that takes time. You have to prove to the other person that you can be trusted. As in, like, not going out of your way to cheat and stuff like that. So don't give your significant other a reason to go through your phone.
Right.
And through your emails or whatever. If they had enough trust, they wouldn't have to do that.
Right.
Right? Another big one is respect. Respect the other person as if you would want to be respected. So when you're communicating with somebody, don't just scream at them because you're angry. You have to talk to them with a proper tone and respect their values too and respect their side of the story. Right. You may not like it, but it's their side. It's how they view it, and that's what makes it different, so you guys can come together to make it work. Right? Because not all your opinions, just your opinions are right. Your other person, your significant other, has their opinions too.
Right. And as women, we sometimes can be wrong.
Oh,
sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
We can be wrong. Yeah, so I
And we don't like to admit it either.
No, and we don't. And at least I can say that if I'm wrong, you will hear silence.
Yeah.
From me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a big one. All 3 of those things are on my main list too. Communication is a huge one because the person that you are with, even if you've been with them for 10 years, you might not know every little detail about them, right?
They say it takes a lifetime to get to know a person.
Oh, yeah. I
literally,
totally
because we're always constantly changing.
Yeah.
So to be with someone for a lifetime, you may know them in and out and see them every day, but you don't know what they're thinking constantly.
Right. Yeah, they are their own person. And I guess that kind of ties into the trust, right? Because in order to communicate with somebody and to be open in communication with them, you have to be able to trust them. Yeah. And you have to be able to trust that they will support you and won't judge you and will be there for you through whatever it is. And that's that's a big one that kind of ties in. And then of course that I guess ties in then to the respect piece is that all those things build up, and then once you reach there, then of course you have a mutual respect for each other and know that it's a team effort, and that together you'll grow and create whatever it is that you create for yourself individually, as a couple, and as a family. So those are my main things. And and another top one for me is you have to be able to show love and affection. Yeah. In every way possible. This might not be for children. So if they're in the room, please tell them to go. Yeah. Because top for me would be, you gotta be really good in bed. This is a good one. I still want you to be super nice, and I want everything. I want the respect. I want all that stuff. But if you cannot
make love and connect on a soul level, on a soul level, because when you're having sex, you're sharing your energy with that person. So you're vibrating in a higher vibration with that person. So you don't want to share your energy with somebody that it doesn't give you that energy back.
Right. Definitely. And you want to be able to be comfortable with that person in every aspect, whether that's just through communication, through trust, and with your clothes off. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Big one. So how can you tell if you are ready for a relationship? So because we are at the age that we are, we do know a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there who are in their 30s and got into a relationship and had children with someone, and then it fell out. And so now they're trying to jump back into it, being a mature person with children, and still trying to build themselves up and grow and build their career for them and their kids. What is, I guess, maybe advice or something that you could tell them to help them jump back into the dating scene?
Love yourself before you love somebody else. Take care of yourself. The rest will fall through when the time is right. When you go chasing for people, it's not going to happen. You're just going to end up in that same vicious cycle of needing something more because you're lacking something within yourself. So I would basically just tune in yourself and take care of yourself. Do your career, do the things that you love doing, spend time with yourself. Get to know yourself, love yourself more, because the more that you love yourself, the more that others will attract to you.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that 100%. I think if I was in that situation, I would definitely, and you've been with somebody for, maybe 10 years and it finally falls through, I would definitely take time for myself and to kind of recoup. It actually does. They did say through, I guess, like metaphysical science that it takes a really long time for the heartstrings to detach from somebody when you've been with them for a long period of time. So when you're with a person, your heartstrings, actually, it's kind of like threads, energy threads, and they connect to that person, whether it's family or, we're definitely talking about partners right now. And when you fall in love with that person, it gets stronger. And it does that's why it's like a broken heart takes a really long time to mend. So
it's like losing a loved one.
So take
it's like
that
a
time.
Death. It's like a death. And then when you get over that grief, it's like a rebirth.
Back to the new you of who you are. So take time to get to know the new you and not the person you were when you were in that relationship and the person you were before that, because you're no longer those people. And work on the goals and things that you want to achieve. And you can totally add in that list, universe, please send me somebody who's tall, dark, and handsome. I'm 5 feet, so that's what I would ask for.
We're always looking for something that we lack, right?
So that
we lack height, so we want the height.
So throw that out there. Another thing that I would suggest, if that might not be your thing, do take some time. But if something does fall in your lap, I guess it is kind of important to date around a little bit, because then it kind of gets you, or lets you know what's out there currently in the dating scene. And it might get you just kind of back into that whole getting out there and getting out of your comfort zone. It doesn't mean that you're ready to drop into a relationship. It just means that you just want to get out there and meet new people.
And sometimes being in a relationship is not the must-have thing either. Right? Because I know a lot of people that they're just like, I'm done with the dating scene. That's it. I don't want to date. I just want to focus on myself. And that's okay too, right? Like, to invest in yourself and to love yourself and care for yourself, you don't have to follow the rules of what society has for us.
That is top priority, is you. Bottom line.
For sure.
So when you're in a relationship, or even if you're not in one, how does society's expectations, or what they put out there in social media, or just out there in general, affect your relationship? Or should it even affect your relationship?
It shouldn't, because you know, everybody has their own opinions towards something. No one's ever going to be happy with what you're doing. Everyone's going to always have something to say within your involvement of that relationship. It shouldn't affect you, but unfortunately it does, because we absorb what other people think. So we take that personally. So sometimes we bring it into a relationship, right? It shouldn't have to be like that, but sometimes it is. I would say just do your own thing, man. Do your own thing. Every single relationship is totally different. No one's going to have the exact same relationship. No one's exactly the same person. You know, what your best friend's going through with her man doesn't mean that you're going through that. Just because you're talking about one particular thing with your best friend doesn't mean that they're them.
Very, very true. Once
Yeah.
you get into a relationship, it's you and that person for life, if
Yeah.
you so choose it to be that way. And when you have others chiming in on a relationship that they
Yeah.
don't see 24/7,
Mhm.
it really can start to mess with your mind.
Yeah.
And then you start to feel pressure from other people who are giving opinions.
Mhm.
If you're asking others for opinions, I would probably say don't. But if you feel like you need to, I guess, you know, by all means. But know that that is what they would do in the situation.
Yeah.
You have to start asking yourself, because it is you, what would you do in that situation? How are you going to deal with that? That helps to build confidence. That helps to build your voice, because where are you going to learn that? You learn that within your house, and with the people that surround you on a regular basis. That's kind of how it helps you to grow, when you can really learn to compromise with another person on a regular basis, because you really do kind of have to suck it up sometimes when you don't want to. So I would definitely recommend to keep everybody's opinions out of your relationship, and really to speak not too much of it with others, unless you feel comfortable and you trust that person's your best friend, and you know that, you know, they'll give you both sides of it. But you know, that's totally up to you. In the end, though, you really have to look to the other person.
Yeah. That's where the communication comes in, right? You have to be able to communicate with your partner the problems that are happening within your relationship, rather than going out from an outside source. Because an outside source is an outside source. Your partner won't know what's going on until you bring it to their attention, right? So that's where the communication comes. Right?
And when you bring things to their attention,
Yeah.
Know that it needs to be in a way that is
Respectful.
really, respectful and really neutral. You're not going to get anything out of getting into anybody's face. You're not going to get anything out of yelling at them, but you're going to stand up and let them know how it made you feel, and that it's not acceptable if that might be the case. And then it's really up to you in the end, right? Especially too, if you're a mom and you have little girls, you want them to be with somebody who's going to love them unconditionally and give them the world. And so why wouldn't you want that for yourself? Why wouldn't you want that for yourself as a role model for your children, so that you can not only see for your girls, but also for your boys, how they should treat a woman. So
or a man,
right? Be mindful of that when you're jumping into a relationship and you're doing those things. That's a huge one. How can you tell you're in a healthy relationship?
That one's tough, because
everybody has their own opinion in terms of, I guess, what's healthy to them.
I find healthy is when you're not screaming and fighting, abuse, even verbal abuse. I find people are quick to call each other names when they're angry, or to say things out of spite just to hurt that other person. That is also emotionally abusive. Or when you're trying to control that other person from doing something because you don't like it, like constantly calling them every minute, like, where are you? Right, while they're out, and you already know that they're out. That's controlling the situation because you feel insecure about what's going on, and that is emotional abuse. Like that.
And those
I know a
really
lot
last.
of people. I know a lot of people do that because I can call, but I call to check up to make sure that they're safe.
Right.
Because, you know, I've had some like car issues and stuff like that, but to make sure that they're safe or having the intention of where are you cheating is two different things. Right?
Yeah.
So it has to be that healthy balance. Communication and the trust factor, that's the healthy relationship to build upon.
Right.
Without that, I can't even picture it working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, because I guess the same situation, or the same issue would arise again. Mm-hmm. So I would say with a healthy relationship, you can always look at the other person, but you have to look at yourself and how you react to that issue if it keeps occurring. Mm-hmm. And finding out what your expectation of how it should work out, or
what you're doing to sabotage that relationship, because if it keeps happening, there's a reason why it keeps happening.
Right. Are you looking...
If you're causing the pattern constantly within every single relationship that you have, you're causing the problem.
Right. So maybe it is actually you. And, you know, if you are a person who didn't grow up with both parents in the household, you might not actually know how a relationship is supposed to be run. If you are a person who grew up with both parents, but they yelled at each other all the time and disrespected each other, you might actually think that that is okay and that is healthy. And you should be treated that way, or you should treat somebody else that way. And that is not the case. And sometimes it can be that your parents split up, and so you have this high expectation of your life being 100% perfect, and you want to control every situation and everything that the other person does just so that you can always have a perfect life, because you might not have seen that growing up. And if those are any of the cases, it's time to switch your thought, everything, and switch it back to yourself and go back to that inner child and question why you feel those ways, and question why you might do the things that you do. You might go through your man's phone, meanwhile you know he's not doing anything, but you still have those. So
find out those insecurities and figure out why you have them in the first place.
Exactly.
Because not all the time it has to do with the man. Sometimes it has to do with the damage that happened prior from before.
And not just man, but partner.
Partner, yes. Yes. I agree.
Yeah. So
I find when we're in relationships, we still tend to carry our past traumas with us in our new relationships.
Exactly.
Right? So as we're carrying from our past relationships, we're bringing it into the new ones, even though they don't deserve the treatment that you're giving them from your past relationship. Like if your man cheated, or your wife or your husband, or your partner, whatever so be, cheated on you prior, you're gonna think that your next spouse or significant other is gonna cheat in this new relationship. So then you lose that trust when they don't deserve that.
Exactly. Yeah, so what do you look for, I guess, when it's a healthy relationship? Is all those things: communication, trust, respect, unconditional love. And that person should look at you like they are your everything, or you are their everything.
But don't make one person your everything.
Your everything. Exactly. Don't let that person or that relationship hold up your whole city, your whole world. So if that person leaves, everything crashes and you feel like you can't do anything without that person. I have been there. I have learned my lesson, and I am growing individually on my own and collectively with a partner. So that's important.
For sure.
Affirmation: I am open to healthy love. Is a good one. I am open to healthy, loving relationships.
Yeah.
It's really nice to use. And yeah, take time to rediscover yourself and find out what you like and get out there. And I don't know, to me it's like get your groove back. So
it's all about self-confidence, right?
Yeah,
when you're confident in yourself, you're confident in others.
Yeah, and it's summertime is fast approaching, and I know everybody's ready to get out there. So with that being said, you better work on yourself quick so that you know exactly what you want. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. I kind of really like this one. If you did like it, share it with others. Comment down below. Let us know if you like it. Subscribe. Like. Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Peace.